And now we have the privilege of interviewing Ashley McGlathery, the playwright of Habitual. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay, so your show Habitual, we want to know, where did you get your inspiration for it from?
Well, Joanna actually read it for the first time, and she told me it was a lot like The Three Sides of Me. So I think I just took different experiences growing up as a woman in America and kind of tried to separate it all and put it into one kind of piece. You know, it's very personal to me, so I think it just comes from the inside.
And the show is about three sisters, right?
Yes, it is.
So do you have any sisters yourself?
I do not, actually. I'm an only child.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I took experiences from relating to my friends. You know, growing up an only child, friendship was like really important to me because I didn't have siblings. So my friends were my siblings. So I took a lot of like, you know, our altercations and the way we interacted with one another and put it into the show.
Cool, okay. So the show obviously, you know, it's centered a lot about like the power of women. You know, it's in the Women's History Month, all that. So how important is it to you to celebrate the power of women?
It's extraordinarily important. I think that in this world we live in, women don't get celebrated enough. You know, you watch TV and you look at different types of media, and if you're looking at magazines and television, you're always being sized up or feeling the need to compare yourself to other women. You know, you turn on reality TV, you see women tearing each other down, and that's just not productive. You go to the movies and you see male-centered movies with women who barely have dialogue or who don't talk to each other and occasionally don't have names, you know, and I just really wanted to do something that celebrated the power of women as a whole and let them, like, just let the world know that, you know, we deserve the right to be seen and celebrated.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. And the show has just women in it, correct?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Even we have sometimes they talk to their mother through the door, and even it's a mother. Like I wanted to, like, even the people who aren't on stage, I wanted to be referenced were women. You know.
Okay. So you are a senior and a creative writing major, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how long did it take you to write it?
It took me. I started writing Habitual last fall. No, last spring. Yes, I started it for a class piece. I took script writing, and Joanna reached out to me the same time I was doing this class. So I started writing it then, and I turned it in for initial workshop, and it has come a long way since then. Yeah, it was originally the first draft. I don't even want to look at it anymore. It's kind of garbage.
That.
But I'm really proud of where it came, like where it came from and where it is now.
How did you progress that? Did you just did you have a bunch of teachers look over it, or did you get your friends to look over it?
Initially, it was professors. Like I said, I was in my script writing course, so I had a few professors look over it and, you know, give me feedback from there. Then from that point on, I started sending it to Joe, and the director of the piece, and me and Joanna would talk it over. We would have meetings and we would work on it together. And I let my mother read it, and my mother gave me a lot of feedback. And at one point, I even had a few friends and my roommates sit in the living room and read the script out loud for me, so I could hear it and know how to proceed and like what didn't sound right out loud, and then edit it from there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So as a writer, how does it feel to you to be handing this show off to someone else? Since you're the writer and not technically the director, how does it feel to you to be handing off, you know, your work, to have someone else basically take your vision and bring it to life?
I mean, anytime I write something, it's like I have a child, and you know, like at a certain point, the child has to grow up and like do their own thing in the world, and you kind of can't micromanage, you can't control it. I believe I handed it off to excellent hands. You know, I think that Joanna was the perfect person to take over from that. People who know me know I'm very intense, very aggressive. Joanna's very sweet and very, you know, understanding. And I just think the combination of those two things really created a really strong show.
Yeah.
I think if I'd had it, I'd have too much control over it. I'd have a tight grip. No, don't do that. Do this. And then I think that, you know, Joanna not writing it, she could actively like see something that I couldn't see being too close to it.
Kind of like a pair of fresh eyes. So was writing just your role, or did you were you kind of there with her while she directed, or like did you have an input in that, or was it just?
So basically, once I handed it off, I told Joe that, you know, for the most part, I didn't want to do too much because I didn't want to, you know, step on her toes or you know, confuse the cast. But Joanna was wonderful. She let me come in every now and then. Well, she asked me to come in every now and then, and we do table reads, you know. And the biggest point was to kind of, one, make sure that this was the final draft of the script. We didn't want them getting drafts and drafts after the fact. And then two, you know, really kind of analyzing it together as a whole team. And I think that was so beneficial, and it was the perfect thing, you know. And I think I had the perfect role involved in the show. I didn't feel like, you know, I was completely cut out of the process, or, you know.
Yeah, okay. So do you plan on writing any other shows?
Yes. I love writing. I do. I never stop. I love plays. I do like film a lot as well, so I probably will move towards that as I get closer to my graduation, so I can get my start into the film business. But yes, I'll never stop writing. You know, you'll probably see something soon.
Yeah. So that was your intent from the beginning, was to write for shows and write for hopefully film?
Initially it was novels, because that's what I grew up. I grew up on books, and they're so very important to me. And then as I got older, I realized that that wasn't necessarily the medium that I delivered my stories the best. So I moved into script writing initially because I'd been doing theater since I was about 8 years old. So it was the natural progression. I was like, okay, cool, I can do this. I know how to do this. And then I realized that as much as I loved theater, the camera was such a strong thing for me, and I wanted to be able to use that, and so that's when I started to move into film and television.
Okay. Well, I wish the best of luck to you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for joining us today.
I hope you guys come see it.
Yes,
It's gonna
I'd
be
love
great.
to. Yeah.